Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and today I thought we'd talk a little bit about Etheria Restart as the final test is coming to a conclusion. And that is on my decision whether or not I was going to take advantage of the rebate versus re-rolling and then just not taking advantage of the rebate, still spending a little bit of money. And I've come to the conclusion, after trying it out myself, that re-rolling is going to be the path to go. And I think for a majority of people, I think it is the best option unless you're basically like a Leviathan spending $1,000+ to really take advantage of that rebate. And the reason being is just basically the math is so heavily in your favor on a reroll in terms of how easy it is to, how quickly, I'll say quickly, you can target like specific units to get yourself off to a very strong start that you really can't guarantee even with spending money. And the Pride one has actually updated their site now with the reroll process. Now, know that this is subject to change on launch due to this being based off of the final test. And there is an area that I think it will change a little bit, but it doesn't really change the fundamentals of a reroll. Now, one of the big things is we learned that you can use salted emails for reroll, which is going to be very good, because that means you can have all of your correspondence for the game come to your primary email, so you don't have to worry about making new emails. You just use a salted email with whatever you want your game email to be attached to, and then you can keep doing that to re-roll. Once you're happy, you go with it. Now, Pridewin here has an actual breakdown of all of the pulls we're going to get. I had mentioned in my last video that it's around 80, and so here they actually show that it is 85 in total. I think it's actually 84 because the first one they list is the guaranteed Leon, so I don't really count that as a pull. But 84 pulls is what you can get. One of the big things that made possible, within the final test at least, is 80 is the pity for permanent summon banner, which is during the reroll process, the permanent banner is like the only one I would advise pulling on, unless for some reason the only character you really care about is Freya. I guess you could try and get an early Freya. But the permanent summon I think is the way to go. And the reason being is there are light and dark units on it. And with the ability to guarantee a pity at 84 pulls or 85, you can pretty much every 4 rerolls guarantee you get a light or dark unit. And then with that, it's going to be very easy to get a very good, strong start that even with spending money, you can't guarantee. There's currently no way, even if you spend $100, $200, $300, $400, to guarantee you're going to start the game with a copy of Lily, a copy of Doki Doki, a copy of Hendrik, or any specific character you may want on the Light and Dark banner. Like, the only one you can guarantee, basically, is Messiah, and that's because he's on a limited banner. And so with that, you can use the reroll process to do that. And my target is Lily, but with how many pulls they're giving us, there's always the potential to pull off getting 2 Light or Dark, or maybe pull off getting a Lily, and then say another one of the other units that I really like on here, and start to a really good, strong start with 2 units that I already like, plus having the targeted selector, plus being able to get a copy of Freya, because I absolutely want to get Freya. And then I'll start right off the bat with 5 great SSRs. And so that's why I will be rerolling. Now, there is the caveat, though. This is the final test. I fully expect us not to get... who knows? We'll have to see. But they gave us 3 codes that were code-specific to the final test. Like Etheria 508, Etheria IADC, and Etheria Final. These each gave a 10 pull, so that's 30 pulls that we got for codes that are not going to be available for launch. Now, they very well might give us... I expect them to give us some codes on launch, but I don't know if they're going to give us 30 pulls worth on launch. This could have very well been, hey, it's the final test. We want you to have more pulls so that you can have better odds of getting characters, so you can try out more in the final test for that, this and that. So we can just assume, to make it a little bit easier, assume we don't get any codes. We don't get those 30 pulls. That still brings it to 55, which to me, math still works out really good. 50 is the soft pity, which means you are going to hit SSRs still fairly often on a reroll, which then also means you can guarantee a light or dark unit of your choice fairly quickly. I say fairly quickly, depends on how much time you're willing to invest. But if you spend like 5-6 hours rolling, you can, with 55 pulls, you can expect to get a specific unit you want on the light and dark side. There's no guarantee still. There's still no guarantee how long it's going to take. But you have very, very good odds, especially if you don't mind it being like 2 or 3 of them. Like, I'll be happy with Lily or Doki Doki. I know some people will be just happy with a like 4 of them, because there's only one light and dark unit pretty much everyone does not want to get, which is Sonya. I wonder if they're going to buff her though, so she very well could become good, because everybody doesn't like her. And they've shown with Hoyun, they're willing to pull a character and make them better, or rework them. And so she could very well be changed. But just being able to get a 25% unit on an SSR pull starting off just is huge. They're worth triple, as we've seen with Messiah on his banner. He's worth triple the pulls as Freya. It takes 300 crystals versus 100 in Freya to pull on the light and dark banner. So even if we know that in the future we're going to get like Lily and Doki Doki, they're probably going to get their own limited banner. Just know it's going to take triple the pulls to get a copy of them versus a Freya on here. And so you can start yourself off right off the bat really strong. And I think someone put a monetary value to it when you compare how much you have to spend versus getting the pulls to pull on this. And it's about $300 worth when it comes to pulling for a pity guarantee on that banner. So by guarantee a light and dark unit on reroll, you can say that you're getting like $300 of value out of it if you want to kind of associate a guarantee with spending money on the limited banner. So that's one reason why it's better than taking advantage of the rebate there. And then that's pretty much how it goes there. Now my plans on reroll is I'm going to reroll until I get a Lily or Doki Doki, and then I'm going to save off. Like, I'm going to write down that salted email, but I'm going to continue rerolling from there. Especially if you're like a hardcore reroller, like someone like Vulcan. And then I'm going to keep rerolling and maybe try and press my luck to get something even better, which means getting like a copy of both Lily and Doki Doki. Unlikely, but it's always possible. Or getting a copy of Lily and another unit that I like a Tiamat or a Rosa. And then I start with 2 strong units. And that'll be probably what I'll end up with, I think. Because at 55 to 80 pulls, you have very good odds of getting 2 SSRs, in my opinion, just by looking at the math. Especially if you spend like 5 to 6 hours doing it. And so that'll be my ultimate goal. And maybe I can get really lucky and pull what RNJ did in his final test and get like 3 light and dark units. Get a Lily, Heinrich, and a Doki Doki. Very, very unlikely. But as we've seen, it can happen. And so basically pull. The biggest thing on reroll, and this will be my advice for anyone that wants to reroll, is to, as you're rerolling, keep track of whatever your best account pull is at the time. So as I get a Lily, I'm going to write down that salted email so I know that, hey, this one's got a copy of Lily. And then if I get something better, I'll be like, oh, here's my new better one. This one has a Lily and a Tsukiyomi on it. And then that one will be my go-to one. And I'm going to do that until we get to the point of no return, as I'll call it, which is I do not want to reroll past reset, which means I want to be able to get my account good, dump all of my stamina that I have available to me so that I use it and get the experience from that, as well as be able to complete all of my dailies and weeklies and all that kind of jazz. Well, not necessarily weeklies, but at least the dailies and the stuff that you basically is going to reset to an extent on reset. The reason being is I don't want to fall behind the rest of the group that have started the game and didn't reroll. But you have plenty of time to do that, especially if you're like me. I took the day off of work. Well, I will be taking the day off work for it, so I will be doing it all day until I'm happy. Like if I get it in a crazy account, I will stop rerolling. If I get like a Lily, Doki Doki, and a Tsukiyomi on a reroll, I'm going with it. I'm done. I'm not. I ain't gonna reroll anymore from that point. So that'll be my plan there, and then we'll just go with it. And then yeah, we'll kind of see. Now after I'm done rerolling, one of the big things that I think even people that reroll aren't going to do, but it's kind of part of my plan and why I think rerolling is important for me, is I don't want to pull on that permanent summon banner ever again. And I don't want to pull, most likely, on the light and dark permanent extra infinity summon banner anymore ever after I'm done with me rerolling. And the biggest reason is how useless dupes are in this game. I won't say useless, they're a little bit of a stat bonus, but they're not very useful, especially for PvP, which is kind of like the main big thing about this game. And so, and my reason behind that is if you look how many characters there are in here, what is it? It's like 12, 16, so what is it, like 21? Now, with how I'll start with my rerolling, I'm going to be getting a copy of Freya, so that's 1 unit. I'm going to guarantee myself with my rerolling at least 1 light or dark unit. Lily or Doki Doki, hopefully, that's 2. We get a free Ling Lu, that's 3. Then we have the target one, which if I don't get her through my rerolling process, it'll be a Tiamat most likely, so that's 4. I fully expect to be able to pull off getting a 5th, or basically an extra SSR on top of like my Lily or Doki Doki. So that'll bring me up to 5 SSRs that I will have on my account that are also in this permanent banner. Which, if you look, I mean, if you do the math, it's like a 20% chance. Maybe actually, I think it's actually less. It's more like 25% chance that I get a dupe. And since dupes are so worthless, you basically feel like you threw away pulls. Like if you hit a 80 hard pity and you just get a dupe on this banner, it's just going to feel so bad. And so after the reroll, I am no longer going to pull on the permanent banner. My plan is to just hoard pulls and pull on the limited banners as they come. So Freya drops off. If they bring out a new character, I'm hoping, if they don't bring Hoyen back into this, I'm hoping Hoyen with her rework goes into the limited banner, because I'll absolutely pull on her. She looks great too. And then we'll kind of see. I'll maybe have, like, say, a Lily, and with all my saving of pulls from then on, maybe they bring Doki Doki to a limited banner after Messiah, and I can pull over her. And that's basically how I'm going to do my pulls from then on. I'm only going to pull on limited banners. And that's why I think it's important to do rerolls as well, as if you really want to min-max your value of pulls, especially if you're free to play, you don't really want to pull on the permanent summon banner once you're kind of happy where your account's at. Simply being because dupes are just going to feel really bad, for one. And I mean, yeah, you have a soft pity and a lower hard pity than on the limited banners, but you have no guarantees on anything. It's all RNG there, so it's absolutely not worth it. In the beginning, it feels like it is because you're building out your account, but that's what rerolling's for. Rerolling's to completely get rid of the need to do that. You reroll until you have an account you're happy with in terms of, hey, I can work with these, which means the SRs as well. The SRs aren't bad. I plan to use a lot of the SRs because I'm not going to have complete teams where I can just use nothing but SSRs. And so that's kind of my plan there. Now, I think a lot of people aren't going to do that advice. They're going to continue pulling on this, which I think is completely fine. It's designed around that system. Just know that you want to conserve pulls for the limited banners as they drop, especially if when they bring out new characters. But that's pretty much it. They kind of, on Pride, when they do talk about some targets here, I would absolutely be targeting a light or dark unit, triple the value of one of these units. So, but these are always good to think about as like a bonus on top of, which is kind of my plan. Hey, I got a copy of Lily, and if I get one of these, I think the only one I don't really care about here, I don't really care about Lilith or Bogon. The main ones I'm looking at, Tsukiyomi, Rose, and Tiamat. I think those are like the 3 main ones that I would love as like a bonus character on top. Especially if I get Rosa or Tsukiyomi, then I can target Tiamat. Or if I get like or if I get Tiamat, I can target Tsukiyomi. So we're just gonna have to see. But that's kind of my plans and why I'm gonna be doing rerolling. I did mention at the beginning, I will be making like an actual guide video right before launch on the reroll, as well as the launch day. I will be streaming it, but I will make after I've done a couple of rerolls, I will then make a actual guide while I'm streaming. I'll just make the guide while streaming on, here's the reroll process. Here's where this chest is. Pick up this, this. This is how many pulls you'll have after 15 to 20 minutes. And here's where you reroll. And then here's how you make your new Sultan email and go from there. But I'll be doing that closer to the launch because I think that's when it's the most important time to do it. So I'll continue from here just making overviews of characters from the test server. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.